Susan Foreman. Susan Foreman. Susan Foreman. Susan Foreman, granddaughter of the Doctor, wielder of scissors and ever-present mystery in the swirling vortex of the 9 hells we call the Whovians, trademark Disney. After getting kicked from the TARDIS in a moment that we all pretend is heartwarming and not just parental abuse, Susan's story remained a mystery, with various accounts detailing exactly what happened to her after getting the old shun from one. Today, we're going to take a cheeky little look at the Susan Diaries, published in 2002 within the It's the End But column of Doctor Who magazine. This 2-part short story took a hilariously messed up look at the life of Susan Foreman after sitting on the dock of the Who had ditched her during the Dalek invasion of Earth. You'd think being abandoned by your only living relative in a primitive, dangerous hellscape would be a bit of a downer, but, well, you'd be right, because it turns out being abandoned by your only living relative in a primitive, dangerous hellscape is in fact a bit of a downer. Our story kicks off in the 1990s when demolition workers at a Shoreditch secondary school unearth a battered book about the French Revolution, annotated with a cocktail of corrections and scathing remarks. Among the book's pages, they find a collection of notes in various formats, including a futuristic quasi-hollow thingamajig, which humans haven't even invented yet. The workers' astonishment turns to horror as they delve into the notes. On December 26, 2164, we find Susan going absolutely spare at her abandonment. Her grandfather, with his quote-unquote senile old brain, mistakenly thought she fancied David, a quote-unquote mindless sporran basher with an even stupider accent than Yartek, and left her behind on a blasted out rock literally named after dirt. Resentful and vowing to punch the Doctor if they ever meet again, Susan tries to carve out a life on what she calls a third-rate planet, which, as a local boy, feels a little generous to be honest. After a short resentment-filled life which included being kidnapped by a flying triangle while trying to go shopping that only made her hate the Doctor more, David kicked the bucket and Susan underwent her first regeneration. Yep, Susan can regenerate, something the original show has never addressed, but this story dives into shoulder deep. Bored with Earth by 2279, Susan tries her hand at space piloting. Finding the pay lousy, she resorts to smuggling that good with a partner named Diamond. This shady venture crashes, literally, in 2281, thanks to a timely intervention by her granddad. She regenerates again to kick her Rax habit and enters rehab, where she marries a nice scientist and begins a long, fruitful hobby of hating her children. In this case, 2 twin boys who end up becoming quote-unquote mathematical little toads, which, once again, feels a little generous to be honest. So, Susan is overjoyed to learn that her sons have been kidnapped, ordering a crate of champagne in celebration. However, her week-long bender is brought to a screeching halt when the Doctor brings the twins back, leading to Susan vowing to murder the Doctor if she ever claps eyes on him again. By 2537, Susan, ever the opportunist, has become Earth President. With a cushy job, lots of manga, and a rather dishy general as her chief advisor, she's in a prime position for sweet romenge when the Doctor lands in her office, accused of working for the Dragons. Fun fact, dragon is a racial slur for the proud Draconian people. Susan thought she could get away with saying it, but oh no, not today. Today she's getting cancelled. Now we'll see the real you. So, Susan banishes the Doctor to the moon, celebrating her victory by getting absolutely hammertroned. However, her bender is ruined when the Doctor resurfaces days later, prompting her to send him on a dangerous mission to the homeworld of the Ogrons, where, just to be sure he gets killed good and proper this time, she makes sure the Daleks are waiting for him. By 2701, Susan got a little bit bored of ruling the Earth with an iron fist and relocated to a scenic little mining planet called Androzani Major. But old habits die hard, and by 2850 she's implicated in a president's murder, necessitating another regeneration to cover her tracks. Using her newfound wealth from selling a different kind of good, she buys her way into the loving arms of the Galactic Federation. Using the money she made as an intergalactic drug kingpin to become the Earth delegates in new Federation planets, Susan's travels take her to Peladon in 3009, where she annoyingly just misses the Doctor. A brief fling with King Peladon results in a daughter, whom she promptly abandons. Later, in 4598, she regenerates into a medical student on Necros, where she gets unalived by Daleks, leading to blindness in her next incarnation. However, her lack of vision doesn't stop her from berating the Doctor during a stay on Deva Loka. After stowing away with colonists back on Earth, she regains her sight in 522-6, only to flee the planet amidst impending solar flares. In 27-593, after yet another regeneration, Susan finds herself on Nerva Beacon, where after dealing with a wee bit of a pest problem, she sends a hot tip to the Sontarans that the Doctor is on Earth, and then hops onto the transmat hoping to never see him again. However, due to some shoddy electrical work by her grandfather, Susan ends up stranded in 16th century Italy. She once again vows revenge, with her vendetta carrying her through Edwardian England, where she endures yet another visit from her grandfather. Finally, by 1940, she's a young girl with amnesia from an air raid, losing track of her grudge. The diary ends in 1958, with Susan as a history teacher in London, blissfully unaware of her past. The final note is a sardonic comment about meeting the dish of a science teacher in the basement. Hang on a minute, that sounds just like Dodo! And if you like this video, then maybe you'll like this one, about how Doctor Who was never a Time Lord. Bye!